Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And you're watching Talking Downey with Mayor Mario. Thank you for being here for a special episode of Talking Downey. Today, you get the privilege of having two mayors, the current mayor and an old mayor. I'm the old mayor. But we have as our guest on there, we have Mayor Mario Trujillo. They're welcome. It's great to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me, Mario.
Well, great. We have, as you know, we're doing this series where we have all the candidates coming up for election, and we have them on the show. We're an honest broker. We have preferences. We know what they've done. We've had all the candidates coming on the show, but we want you, the Downey resident, to make up your own mind and your own decisions, and that's why today is also so important. Listen, this is an election year. We got from president to U.S. senator to state senators and assembly. And there's propositions and there's measures, but every single day life is impacted the most by our local officials. So this is really important. So I'm just asking Downey residents, do your homework, see what they've done, and see what their goals on. So with that, sir, thank you. First of all, you're finishing your first term.
I am.
Tell us about your first term. Is it what you thought it was? And what do you consider your greatest successes and maybe your greatest challenges too?
It has absolutely been a productive term. Tocayo, as you know, you may have heard of the Trujillo Brass Plan. I'm a back to basics kind of guy. After being here 30 some odd years, I thought the city in some areas needed a facelift, if you will. Mm-hmm. And my campaign was centered around fiber optics, making sure all the wires have been laid in the city. Residential streets, getting those streets repaved. I remember when I came in, it was 60-40. 40% of our streets were poor or very poor. Right. Now 60%, Tocayo, remember taking the test. If you got 60%, that's a failing.
Yeah.
That was hard for me to swallow. We immediately got to work, and thanks to our former city manager, Gilbert Livas, we found the money because of the savings and the pension obligations that we incurred, which is a brilliant move by the city. We had the monies to go out and fix our streets, and I'm so proud of that. I feel like we've delivered. When it comes to alleys, 26 alleys, 4 of them have been fixed now. I have 22 more to go. Alleys had not been touched in over 40 years.
Right.
That's not acceptable.
Right.
More sidewalk installed and repaired under the council that I've been part of for the last 3 years than any other previous council. And the street lights, we're finally starting to install street lights. Now, I don't agree on how it's done, but we're going to get it done. Right now, a lot of that cost is incurred by the residents. And, you know, I'm anti-taxes. I'm anti-more fees. Unfortunately, things are more expensive, and we had to increase our fees, which I wasn't too happy about. But to deliver the level of service that I want to deliver, we're going to have to pay nothing but the best to come and get the work done. So we did increase those fees. I was a little disappointed about that, but it needed to be done.
Right.
So, yes.
So tell us about some of the goals that you have for your next term. What are you looking forward to doing once you're reelected?
Continuing the work that we already started. I'm so glad that we have, and I do call it a unified council. We have been voting consistently together as a council for the most important things in this city. We have disagreed on a couple of major things, but I won't go into that. But continuing the work that we've been doing, I'll tell you my biggest two, the Space Museum expansion and the YMCA.
Yeah.
Those are legacy projects, and we're going to continue to work on those to bring those to our beautiful city.
Right.
I also have to mention, I'm excited about the additional dog park and the community garden. I'm excited about bringing those. And the businesses that are coming in, I'm not giving up, on Trader Joe's. I'm consistently asking the staff.
Talked about many times.
We just found out that a property we were hoping they would consider did not work. It's okay. Yeah. Back to the drawing board. I'm not giving up. We have Sprouts coming in. Shake Shack. Yeah. Silver Lake Ramen opens today. Please go and support Silver Lake Ramen, right? And don't forget about the rumored Costco.
Yeah.
Right? We'd love to have a Costco here in our city.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. I'm excited about the next 4 years.
Yeah, economic development's been great. I know it's been one of your fortes, just promoting the city and everything else. The YMCA, he mentioned it on there. It is a legacy project. It's something that our community needs, wants. It's going to be a new state of the art. Mayor Trujillo was instrumental in making sure that the city not only waived the construction fees on there, but also over time contributed $1 million towards the building of it. The Space Museum, the Space Shuttle. Downey owns the full-scale mock-up of the space shuttle called the Inspiration. We named it, as a matter of fact, the council, when I was on there, we actually named it Inspiration. We're bringing it out next month. You got the things on there on October 15th and 17th. They're going to be bringing it out. We're going to refurbish it and then hopefully build that beautiful new building next to the Columbia to house it. And it's going to be amazing on there. If we have this aerospace legacy, that's one thing I love about you, that you feel part of that in the history here in our city. Tell us, what made you move into Downey in the first place? What Downey? You could have picked anywhere you wanted to.
So I actually ended up in Downey by accident.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was moving into Southgate.
Oh, okay.
But I had crossed over into Downey, and the first residential street I had crossed over on Firestone. Old River School Road was my apartment, and I loved the area. It was nice.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty. And that's how I ended up in Downey. But I'll tell you what really did it for me when I found out that Karate Kid had been filmed in Norwalk. That was one of my favorite movies in high school. I thought, even though it's not in Downey, I made it part of Downey in my mind. And the Carpenters. The landlord lived next to the Carpenters or in that area, and I knew who they were, and I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. This city, Downey, has the Carpenters. And so I just learned to love it. It was peaceful. I grew up in a big city, San Francisco. That was difficult for me because before that, I had been raised in Jalisco, Mexico, a small town. Yeah. I love that small town feel, and Downey gives me that. We are a city, the top 10 city, based on population in the county, but it still has that hometown feel. And I think part of it is because we're not tall. Yeah. I think the Embassy Suites is our tallest building. Then maybe the Bank of America, then maybe the courthouse, but we're not tall. Right. So I think it gives us the feel. But most importantly, I fell in love with the neighborhoods. Yeah. I remember my ex-wife and I walking sometimes around these beautiful neighborhoods, and we were motivated. We were inspired to say, one day we're going to own one of those. Yeah. And I remember when we bought the Lexington house, which is pictured in the history of Downey. That was a big day for us because not only had we achieved the part of the American dream, but we bought a historical home here in Downey, California, and our neighborhoods, Tocayo, are beautiful. Very nice. And those houses, these mansions, these mini mansions, it does differentiate us, right? And they're so beautiful and manicured, and some of the best people live in there. Hardworking entrepreneurs, families just trying to live the American dream here in Downey. So what's there not to love about Downey?
No, we have so much going for it. You and I are, like the voice of the Chamber of Commerce. We like to brag at you as the mayor now get to promote it even more. We have our own police, our own fire, our own school district. We have an amazing relationship and school district here. It's one of the top ones in the country. So tell us a little bit about police and fire. I know you've pushed for getting more officers, for getting more equipment and so forth. Tell us our relationship with our police and fire departments.
First and foremost, it is an honor for me to sort of be the quasi-commander-in-chief, if you will, of the police department. It never goes without recognizing, at least for me, what important work police do. They are doing the most dangerous job in this country. When we run away from danger, they run to it. So I've always been of the position, having been part of law enforcement and working with the men and women putting their lives sort of on the line for us, is you have to pay them well. So it's a lot of competition for police officers right now. Part partly because of the rhetoric, the anti-law enforcement rhetoric that unfortunately we're hearing out in the communities. I like to say Downey is one of our finest police departments in the county. I am biased, but if you look at the caliber of men and women that we're hiring, and it is difficult to get into our police department because our residents, and like all residents in the county, but being the mayor of Downey, my residents deserve the best. And we're going to find them the best, and so we increase incentive pay for our officers to stay, who may be considered going somewhere else. We have to make sure morale is high with our police department. We'd love to someday address the facilities. I think they're getting to the point where we've outgrown them. Okay, right. Especially if we're talking about more police officers, we're going to need more facilities. I know that Council Member Horacio Ortiz has suggested, and I'm really interested in looking into it, is a South Downey station. I'm not saying right now, Tocayo, we have a space museum to expand and make sure the YMCA gets open. But and our fire department, the incredible work they do in terms of saving lives. As our codes get better and we build with less wood, there's less fires. And it's amazing to see how our fire department has transitioned into the medical emergency aspect of services that we provide. So police and fire are our priority. And no matter what party you're on or what your politics may be, I think we all agree that when it comes to public safety, we deserve the best. And that's what we expect from government.
Yeah.
The number one thing.
Absolutely. And the city of Downey, for our listeners, and many of them might know this, so, we're surrounded by cities that have the LA County Sheriffs. Great law enforcement agency. There's nothing wrong with that. But we like our independence. We have our own police and then our own fire department, although the county is surrounding it. But it's called mutual aid. We help each other out. We pay a little bit more for that, for our police department on there, but you pay what you get what you pay for, is the old saying on there. The city manager and the city council through the mayor, they direct what we get on there. So that's really important to us on there. So the city, and you were part of it, your first couple years too, on voting what to get. We have a Measure S that passed several years ago, and it was a bond mostly for public safety, but for parks and recreation and so forth. And there was it just finished successfully where every fire station got redone. I mean, there's 28 public safety personnel that were hired. And folks, every single park, if you go to every single park in the city, they were all redone in some great way. Maybe not complete renovation for some of them, but a lot. And we have this amazing library. State of the art, that's amazing and so forth. So I just wanted to say that because you were part of making sure that the funds were used efficiently there. And the city's done a great job with taxpayer dollars on Measure S. So any thoughts on Measure S? I know you get to enjoy the benefits, and you did vote on several of the things that we did, including the personnel.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you to the residents of Downey. I was having a conversation with Supervisor Hahn about how here in LA County in particular, we tax ourselves. Time and time again, we have passed measures, particularly dealing with the homeless issue. We tax ourselves. That doesn't happen a lot across the country. And so making sure that the funds were used adequately, that we're using taxpayer funds is always a priority, along with public safety, because you're entrusted with the people's money. It does escape me that I am entrusted on making decisions of what we do with the people's money and how we can use that money to best serve the community. When it comes to policing, again, it is expensive, but we deliver the best and we're worth it. Downey is expensive. I don't shy away from that. It is, but we're worth it. I'm trying to deliver that level of service that people are paying for. So I believe that Measure S was great for the city. Thank you, Downey residents, for taxing yourself. And I hope you see the improvements, really. Those are beautiful parks.
Yeah, they are. And
beautiful.
And you see that. You've been part of our downtown Downey. And folks, when he was talking about it, downtown Downey has an improvement association. The property owners on Downey, in the downtown Downey area, tax themselves. They're paying additional taxes for promotion, for cleaning, for security, for all these things in the Downtown Association, which is amazing. And you're part of that because you're a property owner in the downtown Downey on there. So I'm always amazed at that. I'm a homeowner, like you are here in Downey. Folks, I'm paying 3 bonds for schools on my property tax bills. I see them on there. Guess what? We have some of the most amazing schools. Guess what? Go to the schools and see these beautiful buildings and all the career technical education things that are going on that we're paying for as Downey residents. So what does that do for me as a Downey resident? I don't have kids in the schools here anymore. They're all grown, but my property values go up because we have really good school district. Public safety, our property values go up if people feel it's like. So it's a thing on there, but it takes good leadership. It takes our city council. It takes the fine folks at Downey Unified.
Thank you for describing it as an investment.
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct. I look at property values and how they've gone up in Downey, and I believe part of it is because we've invested, right? We've invested in the streets, in the alleys, and making sure our police is top notch and our fire department has the top of the line equipment that they need, and our ambulances are up to date and our vehicles are up to date. It is an investment, folks. So there is a measure this coming November, Measure D. Several of us, people that folks look to leadership like you, former Mayor Guerra, former Mayor Saab, it doesn't escape me that when you two are for a measure, we should pay attention. And I understand now that if we do not pass our own measure, because LA County seems to like taxing itself, that countywide, if they pass the LA County measure they get the 25 cents.
They get the 25
and we don't.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. It is unfortunate, but this is a wise move. It is an investment. Again, let's keep our money in Downey, even when it comes to these taxes. As much as I appreciate what the county and the work that they're doing, particularly around that issue, our priority is Downey. And 25 cents on taxes, which you're probably going to get anyways. Keep your money in Downey. Make that extra effort to drive back into our city property line to pump your gas. Make that extra effort to make sure you're getting your groceries in Downey, that your dry cleaners is in Downey. Let's recycle our money, folks, for the benefit of our community so we don't have to keep taxing ourselves.
That's well said.
And Measure S did replenish 10 officers that we had lost in the last recession. We have a very important study being conducted that would tell us, number one, right, because it's a perception that we need officers. But I'll tell you, Tocayo, I like seeing the patrol vehicles out in our streets. It just makes me feel safer, and I'm willing to pay for that. Because my daughter walks these streets sometimes. Young lady, my son, my 14-year-old, so I don't mind that investment if I could sleep better as a citizen. And we're worth it. So Measure D, I am supporting Measure D, even though it is a tax, because of the simple analysis. Either the county gets it or the city gets it. Please vote your conscience.
I wasn't even going to bring it up. I'm glad you did. I am 100% for that, and you're right. You won't know me as a pro-tax person, but this makes sense. I am a homer, and I do believe that the city of Downey has shown its capabilities to use the money wisely on behalf of the taxpayer with Measure S, and this is kind of a no-brainer. And number one is for public safety, but number two, if we don't do it, the county's going to take the money anyways, and we should keep it here. So thank you for being courageous and bringing that up on there. I sure appreciate it. Okay, so what do you want to, as we start wrapping this up? First of all, thank you for being on here. The people get a chance to see you. Your opponents wouldn't come on here, and that's okay. And I try to reinforce them that this isn't a got you thing. This is just for the residents to get to know you. But now here's your opportunity to tell the residents directly why they should vote for you. And remember, Mayor Trujillo is the citywide council. So everybody in the city of Downey will be able to vote for him. There's another election going on in District 3, and that one, the incumbent is Dorothy Pemberton. The other one that was going on was Council District 1, that Horacio Ortiz. Nobody filed the run against him, so he was reelected. He will be reelected, but and he's done a great job. He's the future, the youth of Downey. You know what's interesting, what I like about our council, yes, sometimes you guys vote differently on certain things and you have opinion. You're all very respectful of each other, but you know, I see you the next day at an event and all of you are so professional and enlightening and good human beings on there, regardless of your ideology or professional thoughts on certain things. So I like that. That's the way government should be on there. Let's dash it out on the dice. Let's vote this way or that way. Let's give our opinions. We vote on it. Now let's go to the next day and let's make it better. So I do enjoy that about our council, and I do like that. You know, I just recently saw all of you at the September 11th event, and it was enlightening to see. That's good for us, you know. So,
They're my coworkers.
So yeah,
right?
yeah, we're all teammates
get
here.
along and be coworkers.
Yeah.
I mean, we have your coworkers might not necessarily become your friends.
Yeah.
Some will,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not a lot, but they're my
Yeah.
coworkers, and I have to say this about my coworkers: very hardworking people.
Yeah,
Very hardworking people, well intended. I do
Yeah.
believe that at heart they want the best for the city, just
Yeah.
as I do. We'll continue to work together. We are going to disagree, and that's why elections matter, right?
They do. And you guys have done a fine job. Okay, so I was one that helped hire Gilbert Levis, our former city manager. So I was worried when he left. But then you guys were in charge to hire the new team and the new staff. And folks, I can tell you, and I know I've told you before, I like Roger Bradley a lot. He's a good hire. You guys have made a great decision. His assistant city manager, Vanya, she's done a great job. And then he's brought in his own team. Folks, we're in good hands, and we're in trustworthy, capable hands on there. It's different and it changes. He just hired his first police chief that he made the decision on, and so forth, which is the big decisions that city managers do. So that's a test for this council and you, and what you've done is to what have you done for us lately, kind of thing. What kind of team have you guys hired? And you've done a great job. I enjoy working with Roger
I
Bradley.
appreciate that. That was a tumultuous time for us. The transition of the city manager. It was unfortunate how it played out, but I'm so glad that you recognize that we have a good man in Mr. Bradley. He's hit the ground running. Let me tell you, Roger is very responsive, very effective, particularly when it comes to constituent services. You know, Tocayo, that a lot of the complaints we get, we just pass it on to the city manager, and he really is attentive, and he knows how important it is for us as the electeds to respond to the electorate, regardless of political affiliations and all that. I've enjoyed being on the council. It was more difficult at first. I questioned whether I was going to run again, but I love the city too much to not finish the work that I started. Thank you for your support in this journey. It is a tough one. Thank you for answering the phone when I call you. This man has been one of my counselors and advisors in this position as council member. I call him Mr. Downey, and I say this only because people like you, Mario, and a lot of the former mayors could live anywhere. But you choose to stay here. You don't give us up for Bel Air or Beverly Hills,
I'm not going anywhere,
right? Or Long Beach. Sorry, I meant, you know what I mean.
I'm teasing.
But I love it that you stay here, and now I see you with your grandkids, and I go, oh, the future of Downey, there it is. Thank you for your service. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I have enjoyed it. The politics sometimes can be challenging, but I stay focused on delivering the work, and I've delivered. I think I've delivered, and hopefully the people of Downey will recognize that when they vote come November.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. We sure appreciate you too. So before we close, Mayor Trujillo, so tell us what differentiates, and let the people in Downey know, what differentiates you from your opponents, and why should the people of Downey vote for you?
Well, I believe that qualifications and experience matter. I was a public servant for 30 years, first as an elementary school teacher and then as a prosecutor with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. It was an honor for me to be part of law enforcement. I've delivered. I hope that the people will see that I'm qualified, I have the experience, and I've delivered. in what's important to the city, public safety, and the level of services that our residents get. I do believe that the body of work that we've done as a council over the last 4 years demonstrates that we are people who have delivered on our promises, and I hope people will recognize the work. It's been an honor for me to do my best to represent the city and be an ambassador of the great historical aspects of the city, and I hope that the voters of Downey will grant me another 4 years. That would be my honor to serve an additional term.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for everything you've done for our community. So, folks, this is going to wrap up our episode here with Mayor Mario Trujillo representing citywide. You all get a chance to vote for him if you live in the city of Downey. Do your homework, do your research, check him out. At the end of this episode, we'll put on Mr. Trujillo's website. Feel free to go onto it, or feel free to give me a call, 562-706-4114, 562-706-4114. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Talking Downey with Mayor Mario.